boxer's biggest weakness in each of their styles. Okay, now today I have compiled a little list of current fighters, and their current weaknesses. All right, we've seen a lot of fighters go from undefeated to defeated in the past 2 to 3 years. You know what I mean? The people that were coming up, the Ryan Garcias, the Teofimos, the Devin Haney's, these guys have all taken losses. The Lamont Roaches, the Isaac Pitbull Cruz, these next level guys have all shown some type of weakness in their style, right? Which I think is really good for the game. We were clouded by Floyd Mayweather for a while, but this is a new era. You dig what I'm saying? But I'm not even going to waste your time. I'm going to get straight into it. First fighter. We got Mario Barrios. Okay, so listen, Mario Barrios, all right. I feel like he is the weakest 154-pound champion. He's the only 154-pound champion who has not won his last fight, which is insane. As a champion, you should be winning your fights, right? This man has literally not won a fight in like 2 years. I'm being dead ass. Like, Mario Barrios hasn't won a fight in a while, guys. His last couple fights were draws. I mean, he drawed with Pacquiao, which me personally, I watched that fight. I thought he lost. But let's talk about what his weaknesses are. Fighters with speed and forward pressure. You know what I mean? Mario Barrios is, it seems like everything is there, but it's just like he's a very good boxer, but it's like average. Like, there's nothing outstanding about him. You know what I mean? And it shows. When there are fighters in front of him with things that are exceptional, like speed. Pacquiao still carried, a little bit of speed, even at his old age. You know what I mean? And he was speed mogging Mario Barrios in there, bro, for like the first 6 rounds. It was terrible. And also forward pressure. Mario Barrios suffers with forward pressure. I think it's because he lacks a lot of counters, okay? Mario Barrios does not have a great counter game. And when I say counter, I mean like a step back counter. You know what I mean? Guys are walking, speedy guys are walking down and sneaking shots through and just dropping this guy like Ramos on the Netflix card under the Mike Tyson Jake Paul undercard. Mario Barrios didn't win that fight and he got dropped, which is why he didn't win that fight. And it was because the guy was applying some pressure. You know what I mean? And a punch just slipped through. You know what I mean? Mario Barrios is very interesting to me, guys. I don't know how he's still champion, genuinely. But I'm not going to harp him in too much, because he has a fight coming up, and I think that's going to say a lot. I think he's going to lose that fight, by the way, with Ryan. But next fighter. We've got Abdullah Mason. You dig what I'm saying? My boy. I love Abdullah Mason. I love his style. I love everything about him. But the biggest weaknesses in his game are his lack of experience, okay, and him chasing knockouts. So let's talk about his lack of experience, right? I say lack of experience, and I think this really showed in his last fight, right? I say lack of experience because this guy could have really went out there and won the fight easily. Every time he was using his jab against what is his name? I can't believe I'm already forgetting this guy's name. You guys know, Sam Noakes. When he was using his jab against Sam Noakes, it was working. He was keeping him away. He was outboxing him, hurting him. But I think his lack of experience and his age and him wanting to fight, wanting to prove something, made him get dragged into a fight that he shouldn't have been in. Granted, it made for a great, entertaining fight. He didn't take too much damage and he still won, which is, a type of fight that you want. But as a fighter, though, that could have been much easier. You know what I mean? Use the jab for the first couple rounds, bank like 3 to 4 rounds, and then, Do what you like to do, because you know you were beating him at his own game as well, Sam Noakes. But you know, I feel like he could have made it much easier. And if he wants to last in this game, you know, taking less punches is a part of that game. You dig what I'm saying? But listen, next, chasing knockouts. I think this really showed in that one fight where he got dropped twice, right? This guy likes chasing knockouts. He likes getting the highlight reel. He likes knocking these guys out. I think in the Sam Noakes fight, that's something that he fixed. You know, he wasn't, when he hurt Sam Noakes, he wasn't like just swarming him. You know, he was trying to pick his shots a little bit more. But we've seen this guy, you know, hurt guys and have them hurt, try to swarm and end up taking the wrong precautions, you know, getting clipped on his way in, just opening up a little bit too much, not having his phone directly at the phone booth, you know, when he's going in. You know, this is just lack of experience, but it's also chasing knockouts, you know, because this is happening after this guy is hurting opponents. You know what I'm saying? This is happening when this guy is like, you know, trying entering flow state, as you would say. But I just genuinely think that him chasing knockouts is what is impeding his game right now. Abdullah Mason, it's not too much I could really say about Abdullah Mason, if you can tell. I mean, he's a great fighter, genuinely. I think he's one of them ones. I want to see him against Keyshawn. I think he will lose against Keyshawn though. No kids out. But next fighter, we got Naoya Inoue. Okay, one of the big three. You know what I'm saying? Big three of boxing right now. This guy is not perfect. You know what I mean? He is almost perfect. Like his fighting, his flow state is very close to perfect. But let me tell you where he gets it wrong. Naoya Inoue. You know, he's at a lower weight class, right? Lower weight classes, these guys don't have the best chins. These lower weight classes, these guys are getting dropped left and right. You know, Bam, Inoue, Stephen Fulton. You know, all these guys have been dropped. You know what I mean? And it just happens at these lower weight classes. You know, Manny Pacquiao was getting knocked out, dropped early in his career as well at flyweight, at these lower weight classes. This is what happens. But Naoya Inoue, right? I think his biggest two weaknesses, things to exploit, are his number one, his overconfidence, right? When Naoya Inoue comes out, that boy is blazing. That boy is blazing. Like if you're not giving him nothing back and he really hitting flow state, he finna keep throwing at your ass. Like he trying to get your ass out of there as quick as possible. And I think that is to a detriment because of the next point I'm going to make, his low hands. This man, you know, when he gets into his flow state, he does not worry about bringing his hands back to his chin, right? And this is literally how he gets dropped every single time, okay? He's just going off or something. He ends up eating a shot because he's throwing and not bringing his hands back to where they need to be, right? Eventually this is going to be a problem when he's not able to overpower guys with his skill and, you know, his power. Do I see it being a problem? I don't know, because Inoue, you know, that boy, he different. Him versus Junto or Bam would be great to really show, because I think Inoue really shouldn't move up. You dig what I'm saying? You know, he's a very small guy, number one, and he's already, you know, he could move up if he wants to. You know, some people move up and show better chin resistance, but I don't know. I just think they're just harder punchers. You know, 130, 135. But yeah, his low hands are just a problem. But Inoue's a good, you know, he's a GOAT. You know, I'll fuck with Inoue. You know, I'll raw with you, Inoue. Next fighter, 6'7". We got Ryan Garcia. All right, my boy Ryan Garcia. This is my favorite picture of Ryan Garcia, by the way. The three biggest exploits in Ryan Garcia's game, right? number one, the elephant in the room is, his left hook, which is his biggest asset, his biggest superpower. You know what I mean? But it comes with a curse. You know what I mean? His left hook, when he throws it, he has so much confidence in that left hook. He's built so much confidence in that left hook over the years that he has forgone a lot of fundamentals when throwing it, like having that right hand at the phone booth, right? Bringing the left hand back to the chin after the left hook. He's throwing that left hook, and it's wrapping around his entire body and, going not back to his chin immediately, which leads me to my next point, my next exploit. He opens up too much when he throws, and I think this was shown a lot in the Gervonta Davis fight, especially when he got knocked out and dropped. He was just opening. When he throws, he opens up way too much. When I say opens up, I mean he opens up like his defense. His left, when he throws his left hook, his right hand is all the way out. When he throws his jab, his right hand is, down. When he throws his right hand, his straight right hand, his cross, his left hand is literally, as low as can be. This man opens up way too much whenever he hits his flow state. You know what I mean? And, against these sharp fighters, these slick fighters, the Gervonta Davises, that can catch you, that suffered. Look at the Rolly Romero fight, which brings me to my next point, his timing. Timing. He's very easy to time, this guy, Ryan Garcia. Literally, I've seen his last couple opponents, like the last couple opponents that have beaten him, have built game plans off of timing him, timing him off of his left hook. You know what I mean? Rolly Romero timed his ass off of his left hook because he knows he's going to throw that left hook, and when he throws it, he's going to forego every single defensive option that there is. And that's exactly what happened. Ryan Garcia threw that left hook at Rolly Romero, didn't bring his right hand back up. His left hand did not come back up. And when Rolly Romero was back to fire off that left hook of his own, he knows that Ryan Garcia, both of his hands are down, and he loves that pawing motion. That he's trying to parry that right hand. You know what I mean? But your left hand is already down from the left hook. You already opened up way too much from the left hook. Your right hand is down, your left hand is down, and he got dropped. You see what I'm saying? His timing. He's very easy to time. He opens up too much in his left hook. I think he needs to tighten up his game a lot more. You know what I mean? Just tighten it up, on some Mario Barrios stuff. You know what I'm saying? But listen, next fighter, we got my boy Devin Haney. Listen, before I talk about Devin Haney, I just want to say I'm so happy that Devin Haney is back in a win column. I'm so happy this man is getting his respect. I love Devin Haney. I rock with Devin Haney. Man, I really love Devin Haney, bro. It's really sad because he really didn't do anything, bro. He really didn't do anything wrong. His dad really was the one who did the lawsuit, and I think that's really where a lot of fighters or fight fans lost respect, was because of the lawsuit, not more or less the fact that he lost, or it was more to the fact the lawsuit, right? But I digress. Let's not talk about that, because at the end of the day, the guy was cheated astronomically. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, no matter what you guys want to say about, the left hook, he wasn't able to block the left hook, that might be true. But at the end of the day, we had a fighter that came in overweight, right? He came in overweight. I know Devin Haney agreed to afterwards because of the money, but bro, draining yourself, and we already know Devin Haney was draining himself. Draining yourself and not draining yourself, that's the big difference. It wasn't the 4 pounds. It was the fact that one fighter had to drain himself to make the weight, one fighter did not, right? On top of that, this guy did not even pass the steroid test, man. I mean, if you got a guy that doesn't pass the steroid test, like, let me ask you, as a man, you sitting in your chair, you probably not just sitting in your chair. You're probably, hitting a sideways motion. You dig what I'm saying? Maybe got me playing in the background. You dig what I'm saying? Maybe you in your bed hitting a sideways motion. You dig what I'm saying? But Let me ask you, if somebody comes in and cheats you astronomically, and you find out that he had drugs in his system afterwards that might have helped his performance against you, and we're not just talking about swimming like Michael Phelps, steroids, we're talking about boxing. We are talking about fighting here, where you're getting your brain rocked up against your skull every time you're getting sat down on that canvas. Every time you're getting sat down on that canvas, you're getting posterized. That's your face everywhere. Okay, it's not like losing an NBA playoff. You know, it's not like losing an NFL game, a football game. No. This is deeply personal, humiliating, right? Being on that floor, getting dropped. You know what I mean? It hurts your pride as a fighter, to your core. You know what I mean? Me, myself, as a fighter, I've never been dropped, not even in sparring. You know what I mean? I've been hit with some big shots that I could have gone down from, but the fact that I didn't go down from them gives me a lot of confidence. You know, the fact that Devin Haney took all those shots from a PED, you know, Ryan Garcia, in his mind, that probably did a lot to him. Like, dang, I wasn't able to take this guy's shots. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. I'm going on a little bit of a rant. I went on a bit of a rant. But listen, Devin Haney's biggest exploits, right? Similar fighters, right? He struggles with similar fighters. Fighters with similar attributes to him. You know, height, length, speed. Like seen in the Ryan Garcia fight, right? Even though Ryan Garcia, you know, popped, we get to take certain things from that fight. We just saw he struggled with somebody that was able to match his length in arm with his arms. You dig what I'm saying? Match his. It was really hard for him. You know, he was getting caught with that left hook at the end of it, mind you. You know, Devin Haney is a weight bully. You know, this guy never really fought somebody his size up until Ryan Garcia. So, and self-admitted weight bully. You know, I rock with Devin. Top 3 favorite boxers for me right now. But you know, self-admitted weight bully. You know, he said himself that he was a weight bully. You know, but you know, being a weight bully comes with a lot of downsides as well. But let's get to the next exploit, his inside defense. You know, I think it's something he fixed up in the Brian Norman fight. Well, actually no, because he didn't really allow Brian Norman to get on the inside. You know, every time he got on the inside, he clinched. But you know, Devin Haney, we saw in the Linares fight, you know, his defense. He slips into the Philly shell. And whenever that happens, whenever fighters slip into that Philly shell, right? Especially with speed moggers like Linares and Ryan Garcia, right? You have to be able to see the punch coming, right? If you can't see the punch coming, especially if you're doing that when you're on the inside, especially against speed moggers, and you don't exactly know what you're doing, you're going to make a mistake. You're going to parry a jab that's not there. You're going to block a left hook that's not there. You're going to try to roll a right hand that's not there. And we saw in the Linares fight that he was rolling, you know, a left hand that was incoming, but not looking out for the right hand. You know what I mean? And that's what got him caught and hurt for the last 2 rounds in that fight. You know what I mean? In the Ryan Garcia fight, he was getting caught coming out of clinches. You know, he was getting caught up close. You know what I mean? He just struggles on the inside. I think he fixed it a little bit in the Brian Norman fight, but it was mainly built off of clinching. He was clinching and able to pretty much build an inside offense off of the clinching, but I think he needs to fix his inside defense a lot. Next fighter. Actually, this is 2 fighters. We got 2 fighters or one. Bivol and Bud, because I see the same weakness, exploit in both of these fighters. How to beat Dimitri Bivol and Terrence Bud Crawford? And I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't know. You really think I'm going to get on here and sit here and disrespect my GOAT, Dimitri Bivol? Go to hell. Dimitri Bivol is the only man I will get on my knees for, and I put that on my mother. I will get on my knees for Jesus Christ and Dimitri Bivol. I said it. Merged. Okay. Next, Terrence Crawford. That boy to go, ain't he? I really don't see how you could beat Terrence Crawford. Like, genuinely. Like, I was just thinking about, like, I was finna put him in the video. Like, actually. But it's like, bro, you can't beat Terrence Crawford. You really can't. Like, how do you beat this nigga? The only way I think you beat Terrence Crawford is him getting overconfident. He got caught by Gamboa just for being overconfident. But that hasn't happened since. You can't beat Terrence Crawford, I ain't gonna lie, and that's the end of the video. No cap. I don't know how many times I'm going to upload. For right now, we're going to try to shoot for once a week, maybe twice a week. But I fuck with y'all, man. I really do. I ride with y'all boys. And I am starting a channel with another boxing enthusiast of mine. It's called Toe to Toe Boxing. We're going to be doing podcasts, everything. Just an extension of this. You know what I mean? I did a backdoor pilot. Go to the live stream section. Go check out the last live that I did. That was a backdoor pilot for the Toe to Toe channel, Toe to Toe podcast type shit. Okay. I got multiple more videos coming up. We're going to talk about that Teofimo versus Shakur fight. My stance on it right now might surprise you. Yeah. Boxing news is great right now. It's booming. Boxing is booming. Business is booming. It's great like that, but I'm not gonna waste y'all time too much, man. Follow with y'all, ride with y'all, do all the YouTuber stuff. I can't really force y'all to do nothing. Like, comment, subscribe. Pretty please though. I really don't care though. Yeah. Keita out.